Hi, everyone. I want to talk today about the first resource that I recommend for learning English. And this is a brilliant, brilliant website called Youglish. Okay, first, before we do that, I want to talk about I want to ask, what do you do in order to make yourself speak English and make yourself learn English every day? Everybody is different. Okay, you have to figure out your style. What are the things that help you learn a language? Listening, reading, speaking, writing. How do you do these things? A couple things that might surprise you that I'm recommending: Duolingo and Memrise. Okay, before we talk about Youglish, Duolingo is really, really useful for what it is. One, you're starting to write in English. You're starting to say English. And you're saying full sentences and you're hearing how it is pronounced. Duolingo is not perfect, but it is a good resource. So here I am on Hindi speakers learning English. Okay, and let's go to one of these. Shisht, Kshisht, I think it is.
Give me the cheapest hat.
Give me the cheapest hat. Okay. ज्यादा सबसे सस्ती टोपी मुझे ज्यादा सस्ती टोपी DTA, I think it would be. Sorry, I'm in this hole now. सबसे सस्ती टोपी do. I think that's right. So you're here seeing your language and you're learning to say it. You can also switch it and do English learners learning your own language. That's how I learned Hindi through this. Was I used this one where Hindi speakers are supposed to be learning English. This is another way. So anything to get you to write and say English over and over. Another is Memrise. So I can't access the English speaking ones because I'm an English speaker, but you can. Memrise is really good because it will show people speaking this. So here I'm doing the Japanese version. Hey. So I'm connecting the script with what someone's saying and the meaning. Hey. 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 To. Do. But you're getting to hear people speak. Okay, so it's really, really useful. And as you get better, they'll have longer sentences. If I show you German, you'll see it as well. But the last one that I want to get to, Youglish. How do we use Youglish? It is brilliant. I wish I had it for my languages that I'm learning. You type in a phrase or a word, but a phrase is especially good. It will search YouTube and find the exact place where it uses that phrase. So for instance, I typed in pull it off. This is a very common thing we say. And it might sound like you pull something off of something. And that we can use it that way. But that's not how we usually use it. So you hear English speakers, they keep saying, oh, I'm going to pull it off. And you're like, what do they mean by this? You type it into Youglish, hit it. It will find YouTube videos exactly at the place where they use this phrase. And it will type out the script for you down here.
They believed their intellectual superiority could pull it off.
They believed their intellectual superiority could pull it off. So now I'm going backwards in order to hear the context a little more.
Crime. Thanks to a life of privilege, wealth, and access to the best educations, they believed their intellectual superiority could pull it off.
Okay, that doesn't mean they're pulling something off. It means something else. So I go to the next one.
If you try to pull it off, which, to be clear, just didn't know how I was going to pull it off. But when I go to explain to people,
know how I was going to pull it off. So I go back a little bit to see what he's talking about.
Nothing about me that anybody was going to say, wow, that guy's really going to go on to do something. But I was really fucking hungry, right? So I had, you want to talk about desire, I had desire. I always knew I was going to be successful. I just didn't know how I was going to pull it off.
Okay, he always knew he was going to be successful. He just didn't know how he was going to pull it off. Now we see the context of how this is used. It means to be successful at something or to successfully complete something. And we get to hear it said. Often we don't believe, do people really say this? Well, if you go in Youglish, you find out they do say this. You can use another one, to brush off. Brush off.
It isn't a brush off that's at stake. A rejection from another person.
We see it right here. It isn't a brush off that's at stake. A rejection from another person. So we start to think, maybe brush off means to reject someone.
We can pick ourselves back up. Brush off the dust.
Okay, this really means brush off the dust. Okay, so that's another way we use it.
Yeah. Brush off the glass,
Okay.
all the stuff.
Literally
Say
brushing
this,
off?
Yes.
Nice, smooth way to brush off such a request. With a smooth talk with them, and I'll get back to him. So I was thinking, well, gosh, but a nice, smooth way to brush off such a request.
Okay, so he had requested something, and someone kind of said something nice, but they really meant, I'm not going to talk to you again. He says this is a smooth way to brush off a request, to reject someone, but to reject them nicely. So if someone walks away from you and doesn't really answer, they brushed you off. So this is really brilliant, and I recommend using this. The next time, I'm going to talk about how to use YouTube in a very good way to practice English and to learn to listen. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe and comment. And make sure to hit us up on YouTube, RJK English on Facebook as well. And let's have a further conversation. Try this Youglish out. I think you're going to love it. All right, see you later.